Good afternoon, Mike, Amanda. How are you?
Great. Good afternoon, Shawn. Thanks for having us.
No worries. We're live. So we're mostly. I really like the LinkedIn platform. It's just I don't know. It's been LinkedIn's been really cool and a good way to interact with people, business professionals like ourselves. And so we're streaming live on LinkedIn and I think YouTube as well, just so we can save this and anybody that wants to access it can see it later. So I will wait for the 100 million listeners to all try to cram into this live stream to see us. So, we'll do a little small talk before then. But Amanda, Mike, what I call this segment and what we've been, what I've been doing. So this is 40. So 40 weeks, probably a little, I think I missed 1 week. So 40 weeks of doing these live streams since, the pandemic was announced last year. And so it just kind of started out just trying to give information to people while they were, in their homes, kind of, not kind of, but sheltered in place and everything, mostly revolving around helping clients get information about education, about jobs, some industry stuff, because, today, fortunately, all of us are supporting the mortgage industry. And I think I've done a pretty good job at letting everybody know the career that I'm in and doing mortgages. But to me, it was more than that. So we named this Lending with Purpose. And what we've done is having conversations with clients and friends, introductions to various forms of information and professionals and resources, that we actually use, look for that we never knew existed. And then just people like yourselves that we want to learn more about. And so that's what this is all about. And so real quick, got a quick story about a benefit, and we'll get into some of that today. With the association, the Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. And so I've been in retail for 14 years before we started this broker shop. And so I've always known about the association, always been, I put air quotes, involved, just because I was a part of the association. But it wasn't until I became a broker that I really honestly felt like I had to utilize a service other than networking, going to the events and stuff like that, and getting to know people like Mike, because Mike's been around for a while, in the space. And so last year in 2020, we go through our first series of state audits. So we did Virginia, flying colors, went through DC, everything went great. Got to Maryland, everything was so what I thought flying colors. But there's some, one or two documents that were in those files that, we kind of needed to make sure that we continue to have through that. And by having a conversation with someone in the association, they're like, oh, no, don't worry about that. You can get that taken care of. We have a resource in the association, an attorney that we work with that you can speak with. So fast forward a couple months later, we hired the attorney. They worked amongst us in the state, and we were able to get everything resolved. And so it was just, a really good feeling. And it was really amazing that we had that opportunity and those relationships within the organization. And I never knew that. Like in all the years that I've been a part of the association, really never had to use it. But this time around, with me being a business owner and in the broker community, these are resources and benefits that we need access to in order to have sustainable businesses. And so, I just applaud the association for making that available to us, and just wanted to open up with that quick story. So we're going to start with Mike, and then we're going to go with you, Amanda, because you're going to do a much better job at telling us who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Shawn, because it would have been a hard act to follow.
Yeah, you're just going to have to introduce yourself.
That's right. So I'm Mike McNamara. I'm Vice President of Southern Trust Mortgage. I'm also the current president of the Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. And a few years back, we became the Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. We were at one point for many years the Maryland Mortgage Bankers Association, but we merged with the Maryland Mortgage Professionals and formed this awesome organization that includes folks like Shawn, brokers, bankers, title companies, service providers throughout our industry that are members of our association. And along the lines that Shawn was just speaking about, is we try to encourage members using members, members helping members, and a lot of collaboration between companies, getting ideas from each other, and supporting each other. Besides the networking is key. I found over the years when I was with a service provider that it provided so many opportunities. It opened up doors just by being involved in the association, and helped me grow my business. And I think it helps lenders, brokers across the board grow their business. I wanted to touch on, Shawn, also some things, some recent success stories, what our goals are. When I took over as president, I really had three main items that I wanted to concentrate on. Mm-hmm. A big one is legislation. And we have a committee of folks that are unbelievable. We have a registered lobbyist that helps us in Annapolis with anything affecting the real estate community. We have a Monday conference call with him and the committee and anyone who wants to join. I think we had 20-some people on this past Monday, even though it was a holiday. And we cover all the bills that are coming up, anything that's going to affect the real estate community. And we get on them and we support, we testify. I had the opportunity to testify a couple of years ago in front of a committee, and it was awesome. Just being there, seeing how the whole process worked. We have a group of folks that have been there numerous times to testify. One big success story that really helped companies like yours, Shawn, in the broker community. A few years back, we were able to not only introduce, we drafted legislation, got a sponsor, and actually testified on that and got a law passed that helps brokers. The law that was in place prohibited them from refinancing a customer. They had a wait time of 24 months. That was eliminated by the efforts of our association. Right. But really, that's some of the things we do. So that's one, legislation. Number two is education. And we really have put forth another great committee of volunteer member companies, brokers and bankers alike, that work together to bring educational events to our association. And we just had yesterday, I'm sure Amanda will reference, we had a wellness series. So it's not always just about, what's the new laws or, reading the new 1003 or understanding this or that, a title rule. It is about that, but it's also about outside how to, like I said, this wellness series that we had. We have a renovation seminar coming up in March for folks that want to learn how to do the renovation loans. And it's for all the members. We have member MI companies that are going to present how to read the 1003, how to understand the new 1003 that's coming up. So a lot of educational events that our members can take advantage of. So it's great opportunities. So again, it's legislation, education, and my third was membership. I really want to get more companies involved. I know from being in the service industry, there's many companies out there that aren't involved, that aren't members. We want to bring them in. We want to show them what we can do for them. Get them involved because when you get involved, I think it makes a big difference in growing your business. So those are the three things I wanted to touch on today, Shawn. And hopefully Amanda, I'm sure, will touch on some of the same items, but that's really what we're here for, to help all lenders in the state of Maryland.
Okay. So Mike, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike McNamara, and Mike is the president of the association, the Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. And Mike, this is how long have you been president?
Let's see. I took over. When did I take over, Amanda? I took over in September.
Yeah, October 8th, I think.
October. Normally, what we did was switch it to annual. So from next year, I'm going to run all the way to the end of the year, and then it'll be annually from January to December. We kind of switched the time frame, and the pandemic had a little bit to do with that. But right. But yeah, so I'll be here till the end of the year.
Okay, awesome. And I was honored to join you as on the board of governors too as well. That was huge for me, and very excited to be a part of it. So before we move on to Amanda, who's our executive director, couple things you mentioned. So, everybody that's listening, like, so for instance, you mentioned the 24-month thing. So that's huge in our broker community. So like right now, given the fact that, rates, dropped over 1%, just kind of like overnight, right, during the pandemic. So folks that we refinanced or did a purchase transaction for back in March of last year, they are primed to have an opportunity to refinance right now. So without that legislation, I would have not been able, our companies would not have been able to do refinances for those particular clients, right?
You could do it, but you wouldn't get paid on it.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's major, and it's pretty big, like, for companies that are, trying to drive revenues into their organization, and specifically, especially because it's warranted. It's not like it's any predatory lending or anything going on. There's a net tangible benefit to that, and that's, I'm sure, what made the most sense. So I say all that to say, Mike, tell me what it's like, not even just that particular situation, but you mentioned twice when you were talking, you said testify, right, in regards to legislation. And you also said that you had an opportunity to testify. I think people need to also hear it, whether you're a direct lender that's a member, or just in the industry in general, or if you're a broker. What exactly does that mean? Like, when, what was that experience like for you when you testified?
It was great. I mean, it was a little, I'll be honest, I was a little intimidated at first, but I had our lobbyist, Dennis Rasmussen, sitting right with me, whispering in my ear, here's what's going to happen next. Here's what's going to happen next. So he was guiding me. And at the time, I was working for a credit reporting agency, and the legislation had to do with credit reporting and some new rules and things. And I was able to present my case, or our case, as an association, because we came together and agreed what position we should take. And we were able to have an influence on that. But it was great. It was awesome feedback. I had senators asking questions outside of the realm of what the bill entailed. They were asking me, should I freeze my credit report? So wow. Really didn't have any, but it was a great give and take, and they were learning about our industry at the same time. There's folks on our committee. I would love to call out Rich Green and Tim Goff in particular, because those two are doing a tireless effort right now, and have in the past, as well as Ernie Grew, and they've gone, and Dave Muir, and they've testified numerous times to make sure, either in support or against specific legislation. So it's a great experience. I mean, even if you're just to learn the process, if you're interested at all in politics, just to learn how everything works is pretty neat. You had to follow rules. So sometimes I spoke without permission, things like that. I had to jump back for a second.
That's why Rasmussen was beside you, giving you kicking you under the table and giving you a nudge, pulling your leg or something, right?
Exactly. So it was neat. And then we got to sit and listen to the other side, to other folks testify on the other side of the aisle. So it was interesting, very interesting. And I think it's beneficial, for numerous reasons, just to learn more about how the whole process works.
Right. That's an amazing benefit. So here we go. Amanda, tell us who you are, what you do, and then, we'll get your bullets, and, we'll continue the conversation.
Sure. So my name is Amanda Horvath. I became the executive director of the Mmbba back in June. It has been an exciting 6 or 7 months, trying to really upgrade our website and just the kind of the processes that we have in place. But on the daily, I'm responding to any of your inquiries, anybody that's emailing us, any of the committee chairs that are setting up meetings and planning things, and just really making sure that everything runs smoothly on the back end. Also been able to get a little bit involved, like what Mike was just saying, with the legislative group. That group is just so dynamic, and they're just really on top of it and doing the best thing for our industry. And if there's any of the numerous reasons to join, the number one reason to join is to make sure that there's somebody out there looking out for our industry legislatively. And that's what our association does for you. And then again, we've been planning lots of great events. Yesterday, our wellness event that Mike talked about, we had a doctor, we had a joint movement specialist who actually took us through an entire movement don't know what you would call it, but a whole session of doing joints and stretches. And then we had a nutritionist come on at the end. Nothing to do with mortgages. We had lots of people sign up. They signed up their realtor partners. They signed up some of their clients. But it was just really about taking care of ourselves in 2021. And we got such great feedback on that event that we're looking to do a stress event in the next couple of months as well. So, the education committee is really not just focused on mortgage education. Sometimes the other members are doing they've got the education kind of ready to go, so we can share that with our members. So, hey, maybe one of our MI companies is doing a 1003 training. That's not something that we have to plan, and we kind of get to plan some of this other stuff that's also of interest. A big benefit of membership is discounts on all of those webinars. So we had a great economic update and a great legislative update before the end of the year. That was $10 for non-members. It was free for any of our members. So those are some other benefits that, just come along with being a member in addition to supporting us in our legislative efforts.
So what, Amanda, who would you like in your short experience with us? You've been in the industry for a while. You have a tremendous amount of experience being in the mortgage industry. But in regards to the association, who's an ideal member?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would just say an ideal member is somebody that is really interested and wants to get involved, that is not just trying to share their one, their specific example. They're thinking about the association as a whole. Mm-hmm. We have had lots of members that, maybe they're a title company, but they're going to help out or sponsor something that's not even in their little exact bubble of what they do. So those members that are always, willing to give feedback. We've got those people that every time I say, hey, I need you to test the new website, or can you test this new process and see if this works? There's people that are jumping up and volunteering, and they're looking at the association, not necessarily what can it just do for me, but how can I help the association grow? How can I help the association better? We have our membership committee, Colleen Palmer and Frank Dana lead that committee. And we really took our time whenever we were switching to this new system to go through how can we make the application process easier, more efficient, faster, easier to understand, and really get that information in there. So it was not just let's copy and paste it and just call it a day. It was let's sit down, let's take our time. And that's not, necessarily benefiting either of them, personally or professionally. That's really for the betterment of the association. So I would say those kind of folks, and then anybody that can, like Mike said, if our members are jumping on the legislative calls, they're bringing a bill to our attention that maybe, flew under the radar, or bringing even ideas for education. Our PMW group is really active, and those ladies just get together. It's the professional mortgage women, Crystal Smith and Janet Pasanic lead that group, and they get together and have these great brain meetings of the brain of, what is a great new topic that we could talk about? What are people going to be interested in? They go out, they find these speakers, and their events are always some of our, highest attended events. We usually get 30 to 40 people on every single one of their calls.
Got it. That was a great answer. But you don't have to be a mortgage company, right? We accept affiliates.
Absolutely. We've got 2 different kinds of memberships. Actually, technically, we have 3. We have got active members. So that's our lenders, our brokers, and our wholesale correspondents. We've got our associate members, which are title companies, credit companies, companies that I don't even think people might even realize are members, like fulfillment and staffing. We have a company that helps you with that, and processing fulfillment if you need that. Training, technology. We have got a really wide variety of company offerings, and we're just trying to expand that. I had a title company, or I had a lender, I think it was a lender, call me last week and said, I've got a loan in a place that I have, no title companies. Can you refer me to somebody? I called up the title company. Hey, do you guys do business here? Can I make this connection? And it's a nice personal exchange. It's not just, here's a list of our members. Good luck. It's, here's the name, phone number, and email of somebody. I've already confirmed that they can do this and do what you want to do. Now, you can reach out to them. And so we love having those people that we can try to connect with each other, and that we were supporting each other in our businesses as well.
Got it. And so this could be for both of you, and maybe Mike, this is a good one for you as well. Like national companies, for instance, right? And like, what is a benefit of a company like, that's spread out through multiple states and such? but obviously happens to have a presence in Maryland, but maybe it's a small presence. What kind of benefit would there be to join our association? So either one of you can answer that question.
Sure. I mean, I could take it, Amanda. When I was with a service provider, that's a prime example. I worked for an out-of-state company who did not have a presence in Maryland, and I was able to grow their business in Maryland substantially by getting active, getting all the member companies exposure to them through networking. Lots of national companies we've approached for that same reason. We also have I didn't mention, but we do have a great connection with MBA National, just like all the states do. But because we're so close to national, we actually have one board meeting a year at the national headquarters, which is awesome. And, over the years, the presidents, Bob Brooksmith spoke at our last meeting we had there, Dave Stevens multiple times before that. Every November, we try to have our board meeting at national headquarters so that they have a pulse of what we're doing. So they present stuff to us at the same time. We have a contact, Kobe Pruitt there, who we work with. He wants to know what's on Maryland's mind. What events, what legislation is coming up that national should know about, so we can support you, so we can look into it. So, but as far as companies, it'll help them grow their business, and that's really a main goal of the association as well.
And I think to add on to that is, especially now in the COVID environment, you don't have to be here. You can log on to a webinar. You can get some of we used to have newsletters that go out every single Friday. They could have legislative updates. They could have our event updates. But now that we're in this COVID environment, you don't necessarily need to have somebody here to still get a lot of benefit from the association, because you can still participate virtually.
Right.
Good
right.
point.
Yeah. And like I opened up with the story that I had, I didn't realize how state specific things were. Because a lot of times we look at things from a federal, national level, as it relates to this industry sometimes. And then I just didn't realize that, there were some forms and some documents and some practices that are really state specific. And if you're not up on it, you're going to miss it. Mm-hmm. Right. And so by having like resources in the association, that was able to help us to, get through what we were going through, to also be like very proactive to going forward. As well. And then just, as Mike mentioned with the legislative piece, just to be able to make things, sort of more efficient, to make things better for mortgage bankers or brokers that do business in Maryland. I didn't realize to what extent that was needed and necessary. So, kudos for that. And then so the other thing, one of the favorite events that I've always had, well, there's a few, like, the get-togethers. We haven't been able to do that very much, but like the crab feast, that's always really nice. Some of the happy hours and things that the association does. But a huge benefit is the continuing education. Mm-hmm. Can you think, Amanda, you could speak to us about the continuing education, like for LOs to get their licensing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually kind of even back to that national level, because every state has got their own requirements. We offer at least once a year the full 8-hour SAFE classes, as well as Maryland and DC. I'm even looking to possibly get that expanded a little bit to a couple of other states where we have a lot of members that are licensed. Typically, it is done in person. We use my mortgage trainer. Aaron from there has been phenomenal. He goes through the entire day. We do breakfast. We do a happy hour afterwards. That is a significant discount for our members over our non-members. So even as that time gets close, I'll find that we've got 5 or 10 people applying for membership just to get that discount for all of their loan officers in their company. This year, we ended up doing it online. We got to even discount that price more significantly, because we weren't paying for breakfast or the location or anything. And we got some great feedback about it. It was really easy. It was virtual. It was a live virtual class. But those are, again, some of the things that, you have got to finish your education. I want to say by the end of October, you're going to get that messaging from us. So even if you're a national company, you're licensed in Maryland, you don't have somebody here, when you're a member and you're getting our communication, we're going to make sure that you're aware of that and that you're not going to miss it.
And we'll also, at the conference that we have planned coming up, Shawn, we will offer continuing ed as well.
Understood. Mike, you touched on it at the beginning. And so overall mission of, MMBBA, is there anything you want to add to that? Like, I know you've been actively involved for a while. We have seen some changes. It's always been a great organization. I'm just seeing a lot of sort of different energy, like, and a different way of moving around and thinking, and, just with the website getting revamped and updated and things of that nature. Mike, do you have anything you wanted to add about the overall, vision of where it's going?
Yeah, we actually have a mission statement that Amanda has in front of her that she could touch on. But I think the excitement that you're seeing now is because we're getting a whole new group of members. We're getting younger. I'm not getting any younger, but we're getting younger.
Sure.
We got brokers, a lot more brokers now. Brendan McKay, for instance, is very active in the legislature. Chrissy Summers has joined her company, the Mortgage Link. So we're getting more and more broker involvement. We're getting younger. We have that young mortgage professionals group. So we're trying to modernize ourselves, if you will, to not only with technology, but with getting younger, and new ideas are coming to make it a little bit more exciting. But Amanda, can you touch on our mission?
Sure. So really the mission for the MMBBA is serving our industry partners through education, fellowship, and legislative representation, and advancing the best interest of our members as we invest in communities by providing fair, responsible, and sustainable home ownership options. And I really love that mission statement because I think it just covers, all of the different parts of what we do. And ultimately, what we're here for is to make sure that people in Maryland can own homes, which is, the dream. And I just did want to touch on too, Mike, with the vision for this year. We have got an exciting month coming up in February. We have got a pretty good mix right now of lenders, brokers, and correspondent lenders. We are really focusing on our brokers for February. So February is actually Broker Appreciation Month, or BAM. So we are going to be highlighting all of our member brokers. We are going to be doing an outreach program to other brokers that are not members, that maybe they're not aware of the association or the benefits that it can provide. We are planning a fantastic happy hour that we're going to be dropping off some happy hour kits to the people that are attending, having our legislator there talking about what's coming for the year, and just really trying to show these brokers we do appreciate them. We do have a benefit for them to become members. And we have a lot of fun. And so I'm really looking forward to that and just being able to highlight that group. And I hope we can expand that to other groups as well as we go in and, maybe we've got our title company appreciation month, 1 month, and just really trying to let people know we're here, we're working for you, and we need your support. This was a tough year without having all of our regular events. So their support for the association is more important now than it ever has been before, just to make sure we can keep providing all of these benefits in the years to come.
Right. No, that's awesome. So this has been great. I really appreciate the both of you taking the time out of your day. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but just excited to be a part of it. And I think more and more folks need to understand it and be a part of it. And so that's why I'm excited that we're doing this on LinkedIn, because there's so many mortgage professionals in here that are actually active members, but they're more that their companies could be involved in this. And then there's other people that are listening, maybe even thinking about getting into the mortgage industry. There are resources in this association to be able to help them, but also, as Mike mentioned, to even grow your business and network through the association. And then for small business owners, I call myself a small business for now. It's just good to find out things that you didn't know before it's too late.
Absolutely.
So that's great for us. And so how should we recommend folks get in touch with the association?
So the best place to go is going to be our website. It's mmbba.org. If you have questions and you want to reach out to me directly, it's info@mmbba.org. We keep it really simple. But those are the two best ways to learn about the association, to reach out to me. Just as I said before, we are launching a new website on February 1st. The website address will stay the same, but if you log on there now, that's not what we're super excited about. Really, in a week and a half, we're excited to launch the new site. Even if you just sign up for our email list, you'll get notification of that, and that way you can go check out the new site and all of the benefits. And Shawn, I did want to touch on too, one thing that you just said about getting involved. If you are a member and you're not very involved, join a committee. Our committees are phenomenal groups of people. They don't take up too much of your time. The most regular meeting is like every other week. So but we have education, long-term planning, professional mortgage women. We have a social committee if you like planning events where everybody gets to have happy hour and enjoy themselves. Political action committee, legislative committee. So we've got lots of committees to join. And if you want to get involved and you want to meet some other like-minded professionals, joining a committee is a great low pressure way to start getting more involved.
It's awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to put in the comment section, mmbba.org. And so that's the website, mmbba.org. And then info@mmbba.org is the way to email.
Correct.
Thanks so much for having us, Shawn. It's a great opportunity to be here with you. And you run an awesome show. I watch your shows all the time on Thursdays.
Oh, thank you so much. It's just, I don't know, just want to give the people as much information as possible. I always say, Mike, relationships are super important, and I was told to build them before you need them. I that's what I've always been told. And then just, like DNA, like what's a part of you. And so for me, it's always giving and adding value. Like we talked about some of the things that the association is doing here. We always have to add value. And so I always talk about having a plan too. So I don't know, I guess a part of the plan is just coming on every Thursday at 2:00 and introducing great relationships and friendships and such, like I am doing with you all today. So don't try to squirm out of here, Mike, and hang up real quick.
I've been known to have quick meetings, right, Amanda?
So I'm going to pop this one up. I just, our friend, Crystal Smith just put a message in there. Professional mortgage women would love to have you on our committee
Nice.
as well. So she made that comment on
Awesome.
LinkedIn. So thanks for that, Crystal. So my favorite part, we could have talked about anything today, but I'm always anxious to hear this question. So for anybody that's going to come on this live stream on Thursdays, just be aware that I'm going to ask this question every time. So you can be prepared for it or be spontaneous. It's fine. So I'm going to start with Amanda. All right. And this is just a question I like to ask you. We typically in a setting like with training and things like that, you always have like an icebreaker. So this is definitely the icebreaker because we finish people off this way. It's in reverse in a different thought. But Amanda, you get one person dead or alive. All right, one person dead or alive. Who would it be? And what question would you ask them if you could, have like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever? Send them an email. What would it be?
So I had a really tough time with this because I had a good one for alive, but I think just out of absolute curiosity and like feeling like maybe I could do something, my question would have to go to Robin Williams. I am a huge Robin Williams fan. I think he was just the most phenomenal actor and comedian. And I think my question would be is how could the world have treated him differently? So he would have known how beloved he was and how much he meant to people. That was one of the saddest pieces of news. And I was just so shocked by it because he just always seemed so happy. And so that's my question.
That one came from out of nowhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just the funniest man. And just that's a great question to ask. I like that. I promise you so far, we haven't really had anybody overlap.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we haven't had Robin Williams before, like, in 40 weeks, only one time, I think. So we've had Oprah and Michelle Obama. But that's twice. But everybody else has had something different each week. So I like that. So Robin Williams, how could the world have treated him differently to make him know that he was loved? I got it. Here we go. Drum roll. Mike McNamara. I'm going to ask you the same question. One person dead or alive. Who would it be? And you get one question. What would you ask?
I would ask my mom what heaven is like.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't think that was repeated because no one knew my mom probably that has been on your shows.
Oh, wow. How long has your mom been passed on? Like
2000, so 20 years.
20 years, and you would ask her what heaven's like. That's a good one. We've had one person ask that similar question about their father. But no, thanks for that. And I appreciate you all coming on here today and spending time with us. Very excited about moving everything forward and helping the association as best as possible. And as you all know, if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to reach out. As the folks that listen to this know, the same here. If there's anything that we can ever do to help you out, just let us know. The goal is to add value at all times. And just do your best to remain as safe and as healthy as you possibly can. And, we'll see you next week. Mike and Amanda, if you can hang on for like 2 more minutes after I close this out, and we'll part ways, but everyone have a great day. And thank you, Mike and Amanda.
Thank you so much, Shawn.